Great empires rise and fall. Such are the cycles of history, the rhythms of time. And Hannibal, who had long been a thorn in the side of Rome and has ravaged his way through Italy, had been defeated. And Carthage, Rome's arch rival in the Mediterranean, had finally fallen. The military threat of Macedon had been stamped out, never to rise again, and the Seleucid king of the east, Antiochus, had been shattered by the legions. The once strong, proud, and prospering Greek nation-states now reluctantly bowed to Roman rule. Rome had survived many trials to emerge as an undisputed power. The Roman Senate also emerged out of a troubled period, its influence stronger than ever. The senators offered certainty and encouraged defiance throughout the Punic Wars. Senators such as Cato provided a disciplined voice to steady the long hand of the Republic. However, with prestige comes greater privilege, and with more power, corruption spreads like an illness. The political institution was now dominated by a small caste of oligarchs who jealously guarded their supremacy. And unknown to them, they were slowly but surely sowing the seeds of their own downfall. And when Caesar returned triumphant, he rose to prominence. And when he was later assassinated, the Senate became a mere shadow, and the shadow would be later eclipsed by Augustus. The Republic was no more. Rome was now a great empire. The senators relegated to their former position as mere advisors to a succession of ambitious emperors. And with the reformers and the enlightened Augustus, Trajan, Hadrian, Vespasian, and Marcus Aurelius, but not all emperors are cut from the same mould. There was also the madness of Nero, the depravity of Caligula, and the megalomania of Commodus. All of them left a dark stain upon the empire. And as one emperor rose and fell, Rome struggled to contain its borders. The horse-riding Parthians troubled Rome from the east. Displaced Germanic tribes pushed from the north. In 290 AD, the Emperor Diocletian separated Rome into two separate halves. And later, the Western Roman Empire would bear the greater brunt of the troubles, struggling with inner turmoil and external threats. The Huns pushed further west, displacing more tribes who sought shelter within the confines of the empire. The Roman legions, once so mighty and effective, were now stifled and weakened. Corruption ran rampant throughout Roman society, and a once obscure sect, its followers known as Christians, although persecuted and shunned, swelled in their numbers. In the 4th century, Constantine provided legitimacy to the new religion by converting, inspired and spurred by a vision he saw as he battled his own enemies. And over time, Christian leaders grew more influential, displacing the traditional power structures of Roman politics. Emperor Theodosius proclaimed Christianity the state religion in 390. And now the will of the emperors were defied by church policy. State policy gave way to prophecy. Penance and a concern for the afterlife stifled imperial glory. Rome relied heavily on the barbarians for tax revenue and men for its legions. However, in the 5th century, Rome lost its territories in North Africa to the Vandals, and so, losing its main supply of grain, which further weakened its ambitions and power. And it lost Spain to the Alans and the Visigoths. With its territory stretched along many borders, Rome struggled to contain tribes displaced by war and hunger. The very means by which Rome supported its army was now becoming a trickling nightmare, as more tribes streamed through its porous borders. Legions, posted along the edges of the empire, struggled to contain them. Tenuous treaties were signed and broken, tributes and bribes were paid. Still the tribes flowed in. The Roman historian Pacidius stated that Rome's once mighty legions were crippled by a lack of conventional wars and the termination of rigorous drills. He also noted that the military leaders had become lax in their duties to maintain discipline and order amongst the rank and file of enlisted soldiers. And as time passed, more of Rome's population identified less with the traditions and the old virtues that motivated their ancestors. They preferred to leave the confines of the empire and settle on its fringes. Much like the pilgrims and the frontiersmen of America, they left relative stability and security to carve out a new life for themselves on the periphery of the empire, living as natives and adopting some of the same practices. Slowly but surely, Roman identity was being eroded, and more Romans were being assimilated by the very people it meant to keep at bay. Some have suggested that lead poisoning may have contributed to the demise of Rome, from the drinking water polluted by the lead pipes of the extensive water network system, to the metal pollutants found in food preparation and dangerous contraceptive techniques, may have all contributed to long-lasting and debilitating health issues among the Roman population. The Roman Empire was also beset by economic issues, such as rampant inflation. With no new territories to conquer and faced with mounting costs, Rome responded by increasing taxes on its population. Gradually, impurities were added to its silver currency, the denarius, and by 265 AD the coinage had become virtually worthless. Taxes and prices continued to increase, affecting the middle classes and the poor, who were crippled by the rising costs of living. The divide between the rich and the poor increased significantly, leading to political instability and civil strife. The fall of Rome was not caused by any one cataclysmic event, but was stimulated by a series of incidents that eventually led to the total collapse of the Western Roman Empire. Although Rome endured in the East in the form of Byzantium, the Eastern Empire would also face its fair share of troubles. It too would be affected by internal strife, external forces, economic troubles, constant warfare, plague, all played a part in the last days of the empire. Like all empires, Rome would fall away to be replaced by others, and so the long tale of history would continue in a different way.